You know, so I usually do my homework. I'll find somebody who knows somebody or something. Give me some information, like who is it? Who is he? And you know, Frenchie, they got me the tape. They got me the tape of his mother's house, where his mom's work at. You know what I'm saying? The other cribs, the studios, stuff like that.
That's the Cali tape.
Right.
Okay.
This is the daughter of the ruler of Dubai, and apparently she uses controversial rule on social media.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Welcome back. Child, you already know 50 Cent wasn't gonna let French Montana breathe easy. He keeps that trolling energy loaded like a weapon, ready to blast whenever French's name pops up online. But this time, 50's jab unlocks something way bigger than just petty shade. People are now whispering that French Montana ain't just dodging industry drama, he's stepping straight into something even scarier. The golden cage of Dubai royalty. On the surface, the headlines shine like a dream. French Montana engaged to a Dubai princess worth a jaw-dropping $18 billion. To the casual fan, it looks like he went from Bronx hustler to international kingpin overnight. But once you scratch past the glitter, the story turns dark real quick. Word on the street is French's so-called fairy tale engagement ain't about love at all. It's about survival. Still drowning in federal heat and investigators allegedly circling everyone tied to those bad boy freak-offs. French needed a plan B, and Dubai, well, it looked like a paradise escape. But here's the catch. That paradise comes with shadows. Ask anyone who really knows Dubai's underbelly and they'll tell you.
Tell you what I actually learned. A friend of mine is an air hostess, and her friend was on a flight with her, and her friend was eating like a very specific diet. So apparently the thing is, it's actually a control thing. I don't know if I can speak about sheikhs and
No, speak.
So these guys actually pay these women to hold a strict diet for like 2 weeks so that they can know that they are in complete control of what that woman is putting into her body, and the girl is shit on them.
Wow.
So the girls aren't even getting on, the girls are on these guys, because then the guys feel like it's sick, like it's control thing. So then they know, like, oh, you listened to me for 2 weeks.
Yeah, so that's probably their kink, that girls actually listen to it.
No 2-minute noodle.
Yes, the towers touch the sky, the whips sparkle with diamonds, and the cash flows like water. But behind that glam are royals with appetites so twisted they make Hollywood scandals look like kiddie shows. The whispers about princes collecting pretty boys and Western celebs getting flown out for things too filthy to even print didn't start yesterday. So when folks saw French, a man infamous for chasing bags, partying till collapse, and attaching himself to powerful men for a come-up, suddenly locking arms with a princess and her billions, the street started asking if this was really a fairy tale or a trap wrapped in gold. That safety net move from French is starting to look way too neat. Nobody's saying he can't love her, but most folks believe survival was the real motivation. And this is where 50 Cent's shade cuts like a blade. When he says French got bought, it ain't just about the giant engagement ring, it's the ugly idea that French might have traded one master for another. He dipped out of chaos only to end up in a kingdom where the rules sound just as wild. Imagine escaping a scandal in New York just to land in Dubai, where you're still answering to powerful men with endless money and zero accountability. That's the sting.
You know, so I usually do my homework. I'll find somebody who knows somebody or something. Give me some information, like who is it? Like, who is he? And you know, Frenchie, they got me the tape. They got me the tape of his mother's house, where his mom's work at. You know what I'm saying? The other cribs, the studios, stuff like that.
That's the Cali tape.
Right.
Okay.
French thought he found his way out, but if even half the whispers about those princes are true, he might have walked straight out of Bad Boy's fire and into Dubai's furnace. And here's the real twist. Unlike the feds, who eventually cut deals or move on, Dubai's royalty, they play for keeps. That's why this so-called $7 billion escape plan is starting to look less like freedom and more like a glittering trap. French might have bought himself some time, but the price tag could be brutal. Now let's rewind, because you can't really get French's Dubai move without first understanding how he even fell into Bad Boy's lap. French Montana didn't secure that deal just off one club anthem. Nah, there was always smoke around that signing. And in light of everything exposed over the past 2 years, fans are side-eyeing that history with fresh suspicion. Here's what folks forget. When French was shopping around, he wasn't some broke mixtape hopeful. He had options. Rock Nation circled him, Rick Ross and MMG were interested, even Kanye's camp flirted with the idea, and yet out of all the tables he could have eaten at,
This is the daughter of the ruler of Dubai, and apparently she uses controversial rule on social media.
French sat down with the one man famous for shady contracts, twisted deals, and extra requirements that had nothing to do with music. See, that's the thing. The whispers said what French got from Bad Boy allegedly had nothing to do with music. Because, child, Bad Boy wasn't just a record label, it was a whole lifestyle. And for some artists, that lifestyle was the currency. Fans been side-eyeing that choice ever since. First off, French openly admitted he took less money up front than what Ross or Jay could have offered, but still chose Puff. That raised eyebrows immediately. Second, every time French was caught stumbling out of one of those infamous villas looking half alive, the internet clocked it. Photos and videos from 2016 to 2019 show him looking flat out drained, and the timing always synced up with one of Puff's wild weekends. Do we have a smoking gun with French's name stamped on it? Nah, but the circumstantial evidence? It's screaming. You had Diddy gifting him a Ciroc French vanilla flavor the morning after they were allegedly partying all night. That viral birthday clip of Diddy in a robe while French stood shirtless beside him looking suspect. And let's not forget French himself bragging he wanted the big bag, and Puff was the only one ready to hand it over, strings and all. To the outside world, it looked like just another label signing. But in the streets, it looked like a man willing to pay a personal price just to climb higher. And that's exactly why people now think French is running the same play in Dubai. Once you show the world you'll trade dignity for opportunity, folks assume you'll do it again, only this time with a bigger bag and a different master. Now here's where the rabbit hole gets deep. In mid-2024,
hi guys.
French Montana suddenly pops up at Paris Fashion Week, not just flexing a fresh outfit, but allegedly showing off a fiancé. And not just any fiance, we're talking Ciara, a princess tied to Dubai's ruling elite. Baby, that ain't no regular Bronx love story, that's a calculated chess move. See, during that same period, the feds were stacking mountains of evidence on Diddy. The freak-off tapes, the trafficking rumors, the money laundering schemes, it was all piling up. Anyone tied too closely to Puff instantly became radioactive. Artists, assistants, producers, even random hang-around friends were getting subpoenaed or interrogated. And French, he wasn't just an acquaintance, he was Diddy's shadow for years. The birthday trips, the Ciroc endorsements, the endless cosigns, he was always right there. If prosecutors wanted to tighten the noose, French's name was bound to surface. So what does he do? He doesn't just skip the country, he locks himself to one of the wealthiest families in the entire Middle East. Reports say this sheikh's family is worth over $18 billion. That's oil empire money. Wealth so massive, $7 billion barely makes them blink. And marrying into that doesn't just bring money, it buys protection, new status, and residency in a country that shuts the door tight on outsiders snooping around their business. The streets don't see a fairy tale here. They're convinced French ain't in love. He's fighting for survival. People can't ignore how fast this engagement popped off. Way too neat, way too perfectly timed with the storm back in the States. To fans, it's a fairy tale romance wrapped in Cartier rings and luxury vows. But to critics, it's nothing but an escape plan dressed up as love. And then there's the optics. Every time French posts with his princess, he's looking cleaner, sharper, almost like he's been reborn. But the comments stay ruthless. Boy, you traded in Diddy for Dubai, or worse. Better pray those sheikhs don't treat you the same way Puff did. And here's the gag. French thinks he leveled up by running to Dubai, but people who know how Middle Eastern royals flex power are warning. Sometimes you don't escape a fire. You just walk into a bigger, hotter one. Now here's the part French definitely doesn't want to hear. Running from Uncle Sam to the UAE doesn't always mean freedom. It might just mean you signed a whole new kind of contract. See, Dubai's reputation screams Lambos, skyscrapers, and pet tigers lounging on yachts. But the whispers behind the curtain, they've been ugly for years. Influencers fly in wide-eyed for the tax-free glam, but then sneak back spilling stories about palace parties where people weren't treated like guests, they were treated like props. Men and women both, allegedly, because some royals don't even see outsiders as human, just as playthings. Now put French Montana in that picture, standing next to Sheikh Amara's family and their $18 billion fortune. Compared to that kind of empire, he's not wealthy, he's ornamental. And here's the kicker, he doesn't even hold a drop of political power. Sheikh Amara is the daughter of one of the most powerful autocrats of our era, and that makes French look less like a king and more like an accessory. French might be famous enough to bring shine to the table, but let's be real, he ain't powerful enough to push back if they ever decide he's just another accessory. People online are already saying this whole situation looks less like he escaped Diddy and more like he just upgraded to new handlers. Instead of freak-offs in Miami, now it's private villas in Dubai. And let's not act like this family is some squeaky clean fairy tale bunch. Remember Sheikh Kamara's viral Insta divorce back in 2024? She shocked the entire world by publicly dumping her husband with just 3 words: "I divorce you." A rebellious move almost unheard of in royal circles. Admirable, yes, but also a reminder of just how messy royal life can really get. Then there are the darker headlines tied to her relatives. Princess Latifah's failed escape attempt, Princess Shamsa's alleged abduction. All stories that allegedly trace back to their own father, the autocrat ruler of Dubai. And here's the kicker: that same man is now French's brand new father-in-law. Suddenly, that glossy fairy tale romance looks cracked, because when power that heavy turns on you, freedom ain't guaranteed. That's why the internet roasting this as French's $7 billion escape plan makes sense. On paper, it's genius. Marry into obscene wealth, secure residency, and hide under a royal shield if the feds start knocking. But socially, baby, it's deja vu. For years, folks clowned French as Diddy's boy toy. The shirtless dinners, the birthday serenades, the Ciroc rewards. Now the gossip streets are buzzing that he didn't run from the sugar. He just upgraded from one sugar daddy to an entire dynasty of them Habibis. The irony cuts deep. Hip-hop sold us French as the gritty underdog. Moroccan roots, Bronx hustle, Coke boys pride. But royalty in Dubai don't play games like Bad Boy Records. You don't outshine them, you don't embarrass them, and you definitely don't outlive your usefulness if even a shred of those whispers are true. French didn't escape a velvet leash. He just traded it for a golden cage. Yeah, he got out of hot water in the States. But in Dubai, whoo, baby, he might be sitting right on top of the stove. And here's the wild twist. The loudest voice dragging French through all this is none other than 50 Cent. Now sit with that for a second. What if 50 ain't just clowning, but low-key warning him? Cause you know how Fifth moves. Big brother vibes, roast you to your face, but still want you to eat. He's been shading French for years, calling him washed, calling him Diddy's leftover. But maybe, just maybe, he sees the trap French is walking into. A trap that doesn't come with chains, but feels exactly like those velvet cages people whisper about in Dubai. But flip it. What if this ain't even a trap for French? We're looking at him like, damn, bro, you sold your soul for protection. But what if this is exactly what he was chasing? Some people run after freedom, others chase comfort. French might not see himself as locked up in some palace. He might see himself as chosen. The Bronx kid who started out hustling mixtapes and ended up with gold-plated security. What we call hell, he might call heaven. A sea blasting, a driver on call, and unlimited protection from the world outside. And that's why 50's jabs cut so deep, cause underneath the trolling, they're laced with truth. Fifth built his entire empire on independence, on owning his name, on flipping street power into boardroom power. French, on the other hand, might have flipped survival into servitude. So who's really winning? The man still fighting for respect in rap, or the man who surrendered the fight for a throne padded with silk and gold? And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to stay in the loop with all the latest tea. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an update, and I'll catch you in the next video.